If you've ever had a sleepless night or woken up covered in sweat because of menopause, this is the video for you. Hello, gorgeous girl. Welcome back to my channel, and today's such a good one, and I'm really gonna be diving in deep to exactly how to help your menopausal symptoms. And these are not gonna be the things that you've already heard 1,000 times before. So if you're new here, hello, I'm Tracy. I'm 49 years old, and I have been in menopause for almost 2 years now. So I know how frustrating, weird, uncomfortable, and perplexing this whole process can be. However, here's the thing. Every single one of us is gonna go through menopause. If you're a woman, you're going to go through menopause. And one of the most important things, in my opinion, is that we as women feel that we are not alone. So I'm gonna be giving you my best goods so that you are comfortable, that you are thriving, and you are really having what I like to call a renaissance, which is like your menopausal renaissance. This is a time in your life where you know who you are, you know what you want and you don't want. You've learned a thing or two, and it's your time now. I think this should actually be a period in our lives where we celebrate who we are now and celebrate menopause. Ooh, and you'll want to stay to the end of this video because I'm sharing for the first time ever what I like to call my menopausal magic trick, so stick around to the end. So instead of trying to figure out where you are in the process, knowledge is power. And I say this so many times on my videos because you don't have to guess anymore. And unlike our mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and more, we don't have to guess or just suffer in silence anymore if you're having uncomfortable menopausal symptoms. So knowing exactly where you stand, what your levels of hormones are, is so crucially important for those of us in menopause. So once again, I've partnered up with LabCorp On Demand, and today I'm gonna be sharing with you my menopause results that I got when I purchased my menopause test. And I have to say, I was actually really shocked when I saw one result in particular, something that I knew was probably going on, but when I tell you the actual number, my jaw pretty much fell to the floor. After I purchased my menopause test with LabCorp On Demand, I simply got my testing done at a local LabCorp, and I received my results about 10 days later. The process itself was so simple, and I have to say, I actually feel bad for our moms and our grandmothers because I didn't even have to wait in a waiting room. I got a text on my phone that said, "Your technician is ready to see you." Like, how great is that? It's kind of like giving you red carpet treatment and not at a red carpet price. So when I received my results this week, I was shocked at how low my estrogen levels were. Now, I believe that a normal range of estrogen levels should be between like 30 and 80. And of course, your estrogen levels decline with menopause, but you know what my level was? I can't believe I'm sharing this on YouTube, but I'm going to because you're my girl. 3 single freaking digits. So what does that mean? Obviously that means I'm in menopause, like full-blown menopause. Now I have also been on HRT now for about 2 years as well. So I'm gonna have a conversation with my doctor because I don't think that my results were that alarmingly low. I did try taking some estrogen a couple of months ago for, I don't know, maybe like about 3 months, but then I started having some side effects from the estrogen. So we sort of like reworked our plan, but this is why this is so important. With LabCorp On Demand, you're gonna know exactly what your personal results are, and what is that gonna do for you? It's gonna make you more knowledgeable and able to have really informed conversations and discussions with your doctor. Because like I've always said, you've got to advocate for yourself. So if you haven't already checked out LabCorp On Demand, today is your sign to do so. I also have a special discount for you. Just use code Tracy to get $10 off your test. Oh, and by the way, it's not just menopause tests. There's over 60 different kinds of tests that you can purchase, whether it be your vitamins or your hormone levels. I mean, everything in between. So definitely check out LabCorp On Demand. I'll leave all the information down below in the description box for you. And I always remind you of this, but there's a reason for it. If you don't know where the description box is, somewhere underneath me, you'll see the title of today's video. Tap on that more, and then if you're on mobile, you have to tap it again, and then you'll get the entire description box. Oh, and definitely let me know if you check it out. I mean, I just told you my estrogen levels, right? So let me know if you were shocked or surprised at some of your levels too. We are in this together. You are not alone. So like I said, you've got to partner up with your doctor. You are a team. You do not have to suffer in silence. And one other friendly reminder is there's no right way to menopause, you know, like whether you choose to do HRT or not do HRT, whether you have symptoms or you don't have symptoms. The main thing here is that you are knowledgeable about what's going on and that you are really doing the best that you can to improve your health, your longevity, your mental health, your physical health, all of these things, so that through this next chapter of your life, we're really looking and feeling our absolute best. Now, like I mentioned, I've been on HRT now for about 2 years. So if you want to check out my exact program and regimen, and of course, that's my plan and my program. And of course, you need to talk to your doctor, but you can definitely check out this video after this one. So hot flashes are the one symptom of menopause that pretty much all of us can agree are just absolutely the worst. I'm fortunate enough where I think I've really only had one baby flash, if that's a thing, like the tiniest little thing at night, but I haven't really suffered with hot flashes. Again, that could be because it's been 2 years of me already being on hormone replacement therapy. So here's one thing that you can do to help you if you are suffering with hot flashes that not enough people talk about, in my opinion. Of course, making dietary nutrition changes, you know, working on your mental health and your physical health, right? However that is, making sure you're doing all the things that we've all heard 80,000 times. But what about creating what I like to call a cooling kit? I remember back in the day when I had my Pilates studio in New York, one of my students said, you know, I'm in menopause, and I think she was about my age, and she was really, really struggling with hot flashes, so much so that she could not sleep through the night. So what she would do is just take a water bottle that's, you know, I don't know, what are those, like 24 ounces, a plastic water bottle, keep them in the freezer so that then if she would get up in the night, she would just put that thing right on the back of her neck and she could fall right back to sleep. How genius is that? So that's a little shout out to my student Claire. Thanks for that tip. And of course, in your cooling kit, you can also have a spray water bottle nearby. So if you're really hot, put some ice cubes in that. You know, obviously put it on a coaster if you've got wood or nice furniture there, but like spray yourself down if you need to with cool water. You could even add some aromatherapy to that water just to really give yourself a really pleasant and spa-like experience. Now, hydration obviously is going to help you a lot, especially if you're sweating a lot during the night. So in your nightstand, make sure that you have a water bottle, and bonus points if you add some electrolytes or even just really good high quality sea salt, so that you are really hydrated and really feeling your best inside and out. Which leads me to our next symptom that you don't need to struggle unnecessarily with, which is vaginal dryness. This is a very, very common symptom of menopause, but something that, in my opinion, again, we don't talk about enough. And it really can happen. Not only can you experience vaginal dryness, but also vaginal atrophy. So that's just like any other muscle in your body. You lose your muscle tone, which means that having sex or having intercourse with your partner is just not going to be as pleasurable or enjoyable. So what are you to do? Now, unrefined virgin coconut oil, the kind that you can cook with, is generally considered safe for internal use as well, if you know what I'm talking about. It's a natural moisturizer. It's also antimicrobial. So it's really like a safer kind of natural lubricant that you can use whether you're having some activity or you're just going to sleep. And vaginal dryness is not something to really take lightly. You know, I hear so frequently from women, especially even in perimenopause, where they start getting more frequent UTIs. Well, that could also be a sign, because if you're having vaginal dryness, when you do have intercourse, you can get little tears in your body, and that can create UTIs or infections and all kinds of problems. So this is something that you do want to handle if you're experiencing this. Now, some things to consider, of course, one thing is not going to be great for everyone. If you are allergic to coconut oil, absolutely do not use it. Obviously, talk to your doctor before you do anything, and do not use coconut oil if you're also using contraception, because latex can be weakened by the coconut oil, and if you're using contraception, obviously you want it to be powerful and at its full strength. Now, another tip that you can start to utilize or experiment with, and this is something that I personally have not, it has been suggested to me many times and I just haven't done it myself, which is known as Yoni steaming. Now, you don't just have to be Kourtney Kardashian to enjoy a little good old Yoni steam.
It's so good for your vagina. You put like roses and stuff and you're like steaming your vagina with roses. Like, what is more luxurious?
So Yoni steaming can help to improve your circulation. Think about it. Anytime we're getting any heat on our body, it gives you improved circulation, and that's very healing for our bodies. It also can produce more of a moisturizing effect inside of your body. So, you know, you kind of like tent yourself. You sit on this special Yoni stool, and then you put on this tent, and the steam comes into your body. You're just sitting there. You know, you can actually go places now to get a Yoni steam. You know, obviously make sure you're going to the right place, but it's not anything weird because no one sees anything. It's almost like you're sitting on like a toilet that doesn't have a toilet, if that makes sense. It's like a hole, like a donut that you're sitting on. And one thing that also tends to really change a lot during menopause is our pelvic health. So Yoni steaming, they say, can also improve your pelvic health in general. Now, like I said, personally, I have not yet tried a Yoni steaming. I actually bought a whole kit, and for some reason, I just had that as like my footstool when I broke my toe. But I really think that it's something to explore, and the benefits are really, really huge. So talk to your doctor, of course, but if it is something that you want to experience, why not? Give it a go. Now, sleep is a huge problem for women in menopause, and I have to say, I experienced this hugely, even more so, I think, when I was going through perimenopause, where you would just kind of wake up at like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're just like, why am I awake? And I do have to say that having a husband who's in his 50s who likes to snore a lot, it's very, very difficult for me to get a really good, sound, and non-disturbed sleep. Not to mention my little 5-year-old friend who comes into my bed every single night as well. So a few things that you could start to implement to help manage your menopause symptoms are: number one, a sound machine. Why? Because if there is noise, whether it be from the outside, you know, I used to live in New York and there was always like sirens and cars honking or people screaming. And now, you know, I live in a very quiet neighborhood in Miami, but I do have my snoring partner next to me. That way, I'm not kicking him all night, and I just turn up the sound machine and it just drowns everything out. I don't have proof around this, but I do think that there is something about having that kind of routine of sleep. So if you're using a sound machine, it's like you're telling your subconscious, now it's time to go to sleep. So talk to me if you know that that is a fact, or if you're like a neuroscientist or something. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if you agree with me or not. Now, again, another reason why we tend to not sleep very well during menopause is if you get those hot flashes at night. So you might want to invest in a cooling pad as well. It's just like a pad that you can put on your mattress just to make it a little bit cooler. Of course, the material of your sheets and your bedding is really, really important. I love sleeping on nice, beautiful, cool cotton sheets, and my bedding, my duvet cover is covered in linen, which is just so light and breathable and just helps me to stay cool and comfortable during the evening. How you're dressing at night matters too. So whether you like to go naked nudie and not have anything on at all, or you're wearing pajamas, make sure if you are wearing pajamas that you're not wearing polyester or things that are going to make you sweat. I even find that silk makes me sweat in the evening, which I kind of hate because who doesn't want to sleep in silk? So my favorite pajamas are Berger pajamas. They keep me cool. They are beyond cozy, and they're cute and adorable. So I just love having like a pajama matching set moment. So I'll also leave those linked down below for you to check out. Aromatherapy is not something that I'm an expert in, but I can tell you that when I use a little bit of lavender oil, like around my nose or just like on like my pulse points, it does relax me a little bit more. Now, of course, you could give yourself a bath and just douse yourself with lavender oil, which I often do, but also just kind of putting it on your body, or even putting some on your sheets, or if you use a sleep mask, that can really help. A weighted blanket also could be a good thing. Now, of course, do your research, because weighted blankets, it kind of gives you that coziness. It helps to relax you. I even have one for my daughter that really, really helped when she was about 2 years old and kind of like struggling a lot with sleep. But of course, in menopause, we want to make sure that it's weighted, but also not going to make you hot. So again, I'll leave you some resources down below in the description box for you as well. But if you are not sleeping well in menopause, there's so many things that you can do. And whether you go through HRT, which obviously can help you a lot, but for some of you, that's not going to be an option, right? So try to implement some of these tips because they can really help you so that you're getting a great night's sleep. And let me know if you want more, because I think like really having the science of sleep down is a game changer. So let's get active in the comments. Now, of course, before we go on, I just want to say a huge, huge thank you for being here today. You know, our community here on YouTube is growing really fast, and I just want to give every single one of you a huge hug. If you haven't already, it's totally free to do so. Just click on that subscribe button and officially join our family, and also click on the bell so you're always notified when I have a video that goes live. I love what we're building here, and I hope that this is a resource for you of women in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, and beyond that really feel like I found my home. So thank you again for being here. Mood swings in menopause are officially the worst. It's like I feel like I can go from being like happy-go-lucky and feeling amazing to like wanting to rip someone's head off to feeling some low level of anxiety. And I remember, especially when I was in perimenopause, it started coming and changing really, really quickly, and it made me kind of question, like, what's wrong with me? Now, of course, you should talk to a therapist if you feel like you're having really intrusive thoughts, or if you feel like your mental health is interfering in your life, or you're at all at risk. Of course, talk to your therapist, talk to your doctor. But there are some non-conventional things that you can do, and we're finally going to dive into what I like to consider my magic trick when it comes to mood swings. So I have a 5-year-old daughter who has wild mood swings. And it's so funny being in menopause and having a 5-year-old, because I'm like, I feel you, girl. I am like so with you when something goes wrong and you just want to completely freak out. And sometimes she has a really hard time shaking off that mood. Now, I am now in the stage of parenting where I'm really starting to realize how much and how healthy that is to let those emotions come up and get them out. And, you know, a 5-year-old's no different than a 55-year-old, right? We have to feel our feelings. They're waves. You're not going to get buried in them. And the worst thing that we want to have happen is that we don't allow ourselves to feel our feelings. Then they get stored in our body, and then they can maybe possibly manifest as sickness or cancer or, you know, just anything else that we don't want in our body. So here's what I do with my daughter and even myself when I just feel like I can't shake it off. I literally shake it off. So what I do is I literally will just go and start shaking my body and just shaking my arms, shaking my legs, shaking my hips. And what I'm doing, it's really a somatic practice, which just helps you to take stuck emotions and not having them live in your bodies and your cells, but really moves them around. And you'll notice that, like, by shaking just like a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes if you're lucky, right? You feel a marked difference in your energy. And no matter what that feeling that you're feeling that comes up for you, you're not holding on to it. Think about it. When we're stressed out and we're angry, we get tight, right? When we feel overwhelmed, right? You might get a backache, right? Or you might get sick, or you might get just like weird aches and pains and these symptoms of inflammation. Whereas when we really move it out of our body, out of the energy in our body, it becomes a complete magic trick. So I want you to really try this on for size. Yes, you're probably gonna look a little bit cray-cray, but who cares? Do this in the privacy of your own home. I often will, bonus points, go outside. Nature can really shift your mood so quickly, and especially when it comes to my daughter and I just can't get her out of like the track, right, of kind of like circular thoughts. I'm like, okay, let's go outside. The change of scenery alone usually will do the trick for her, but then we're having fun. We're like shaking. So shake your body, shake it around. And here's another thing that you can do. We're energy, right? You're an energy field. I do this if I'm around someone that feels like they're a little bit toxic, if I'm nervous to do something, or if there's someone around me and I feel like I'm kind of picking up on their energy. I know this is a little bit woo-woo, but hear me out. An energy healer taught me to do this one. You take your hands down by your pelvis and you kind of cut through the air. And I just think of like, I'm cutting any ties. So I'm like clearing my energy field. So I'm doing it just really big like this. Now, let's say you're at the office and there's someone that's super toxic in your office, right? Go into the bathroom stall and do this. Just clear that energy. Don't take on their energy. If you maybe are at a meeting or something, or you're with someone and they're just like complaining and just you feel that like icky feeling in your body, this energy healer told me that you can also, with the intention, just kind of do it, but it looks like you're kind of like fixing your hair. So I'm not gonna mess up my hair, but like you kind of just do this action, but with that energy of like, I'm cutting ties. So I literally inside of myself will be like, this does not belong to me. I'm cutting this, I'm getting rid of this. So please let me know if you try this, because I think this is a huge magic trick. Also music. Music is a huge thing that really shifts my moods. The mornings that I forget to put on Spotify and I go downstairs, I feel like just like a robot and like life just feels like kind of boring and routine. Whereas the mornings where it's like, as soon as I get downstairs, I turn on the Spotify, I'm getting my daughter's breakfast ready, I'm like doing all the things that I need to do. And like really in the morning for me at this stage, it's about me like giving for a good like 2 hours before I get a second to myself. Music is huge. It just puts me in a good mood. It makes me happy. It keeps things light, keeps my daughter happy. And even if my husband is having a grumpy mood, it's like, how can you be grumpy or be in a bad mood when there's a great song playing? So create playlists, create yourself a menopause playlist. What are your favorite songs that just make you want to like get up and dance or just put a smile on your face? Or conversely, maybe you have songs that just always make you feel peaceful and gratitude and so good. So just create those playlists for yourself and utilize them. And also you might want to try to consider using adaptogenic herbs. So the really easiest way to explain adaptogenic herbs are like your body will take what it needs and just like will not use any of the rest. So it adapts to your body. So ashwagandha, rhodiola are adaptogenic herbs that can really be used, whether it be in teas or tinctures, that can definitely help your mood and help your menopausal symptoms. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor, so before taking anything, whether it be an herb or a drug or anything like that, always talk to your doctor because you are the best advocate for yourself of what's going to work the best for you. So I hope that you implement some of these tips to help to improve your menopausal symptoms. Again, I want to remind you, you're not alone. Think of me as like your menopausal big sister. I'm in it. I get it. It is not always fun, but we don't need to suffer in silence. And there's just so many resources out there that can really help to improve your symptoms. If you want to keep hanging with me here on YouTube, make sure to check out this video next. I'll see you there.